The freaking tripod mode. It gets me pumped up. I'm a little bit too passionate about this issue, and I know I need to calm down. That's why I decided to make a video. Maybe I'll calm down in the midst of the video. I don't know. Let's see. Let's find out. Hello, fellow drone enthusiasts. My name is Dustin Serrano, and it is with a heavy heart that I'm even having to make this darn YouTube video because other people will not talk about this issue. I don't want to be the pessimist of the drone reviewing world, but after watching several, and I mean several, review videos on the Air 2S, no one's talking about this issue. However, people are talking about this in forums. I Googled it and I did see a few people. So I don't know how many people are talking about it, but it's enough to get in forums. So I figured, hey, let's make a YouTube video. Let's talk about it. So just to be clear, this is not a full review of the Air 2S. There's a ton of YouTubers out there and they crush drone reviews, except this one issue that no one wants to talk about. None of them have addressed this one thing. And maybe I am just a whiny pants and you shouldn't even listen to what I have to say. So thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button. Peace. Just kidding. All right. Here's the issue that no one's talking about. It's that dang tripod mode. It's called Cine mode on the Air 2 and on the Air 2S. Now, just to save you some time, who does this actually affect? Well, it affects cinematic videographers who like to have real control over their shots. So if you're mostly using this drone for photography, or you're a hobbyist, or you're a videographer who only videos like wide landscape shots and you've never owned a Mavic Air or a Mavic Pro 2, then ignorance is bliss and this probably will not affect you. But if you are videoing homes for real estate, small businesses, or people up close, maybe that's weddings or something else, I don't know what it is, then this might be an issue for you. All right, let me just take you on a quick journey of the drones I have owned. I bought my first drone a couple of years ago. It was the Mavic Air, and it was just the best, minus sucky low light and short battery span. But man, that tripod mode was so good. It was so smooth. Man, you could just, that was easy. Then when it came for an upgrade though, I bought the Mavic Air 2 thinking this is gonna be a game changer. And it was. But the top speed for the Mavic Air 2 in tripod, or Cine mode as it's called now, is like 11 miles an hour. And it was incredibly harder to get circle shots or even pushing forward or tilting forward, whatever it was, versus the Mavic Air. The Mavic Air was like 3 miles, 4 miles an hour in that tripod mode. It was just buttery smooth, really easy to work. So I returned the Mavic Air 2 and I upgraded again to the Mavic Pro 2, where thankfully that tripod mode is nice and slow, 3 to 4 miles per hour top speed, just like the Mavic Air. So it felt really good to use, nice cinematic shots very easily on the Pro 2. So I'm happy, everything's good. I'm loving my life. Mavic Pro 2, Air 2S drops. I've got to buy it. Got to know if they fixed the issue with the Mavic Air 2. Did they? Nope. I could actually probably deal with the fact that the Air 2S doesn't have the ability to change the aperture like the Mavic Pro 2 does. I don't love it, but I can deal with it. There's not going to be like a 180 degree shutter police coming at me. And most people are not really going to notice if you break that shutter speed rule and, go up a little more than what that double the frame rate is. So it's not a deal breaker. But what people will notice in the footage is if that footage moves quickly whenever you're panning, or then slowly immediately, or is jerky because I can't seem to get the right speed on a circle shot or the right speed on a pushing forward shot, whatever it is in that tripod mode. Now let me say this about the Air 2S. If I redo that shot like 5 times, I can make this bad boy go down to 2 to 3 miles an hour as I'm getting the shot that I really need to get. But gosh darn, it is really hard and it's kind of time consuming, especially if I'm getting paid. If I'm on the clock, I don't really want to redo a shot 5 times with the Air 2S just to get the perfect shot that I need to get. If you look here in the left corner of the screen, you can see that's me going almost full throttle on the Mavic Pro 2 in tripod mode. And here's the Air 2S. You can see me going full throttle in cine mode, and here's me attempting to get the circle shot down like to 2 to 3 miles an hour. Oh, and by the way, my fingers are shaking like crazy to try to keep them perfectly still in just the right spot. Now here's some rebuttals that I'm sure I would probably hear from Jens. Jens is a Southern word. Gotta pay my respects because I do live in the South. The first rebuttal that I would probably hear is, well, Dustin, just use the pinch method. It's so effective. You get so much control that way. If you don't know what the pinch method is, it's kind of like this little bad boy versus just your thumbs, right? Just do that. Do a little bit of that. It is more effective at better control, I will admit. However, it's still not effective enough to get me down to that 2 to 3 miles an hour that I really need this bad boy to be in. Rebuttal 2. Yeah, but Dustin, you can just take that footage at 30 frames per second or 60 frames per second and then just slow it down in post-editing. And that is true. But you can't actually see what it's going to look like until you get it into your computer. So maybe it was a little bit too slow, or maybe it was a little bit too fast. It's not a huge deal, but I want to know exactly what my footage looks like for my client. I don't want to have a guessing game. Versus the Mavic Pro 2, I can take this bad boy, fly it at the exact speed I want in 24 frames per second, and I know exactly what it's going to look like. There's no guessing game involved. Rebuttal 3. Well, Dustin, just use the quick shots like circle or rocket, and you can get exactly the shot that you needed to get. Okay, first of all, in those quick shots, you actually can't adjust the speed, and it's pretty dang fast with those quick shots. And depending on where you're at, you may not be able to use that quick shot with confidence. Maybe there might be a tree, a pole, or people, and so if it's circling, it's definitely going to hit one of those things. You're really better off knowing how to use the controller and being able to maneuver it exactly where you need to. Anyway, like I said, this probably doesn't affect the majority of you, but for some of the people considering it, this might be a factor. So I just wanted to throw all this out there. All of that being said, I don't want to be a total naysayer about this drone. This drone is just killer in so many ways. So I'll list a couple of my favorite things. The first thing that I love about this has already been said about the Mavic Air 2, but I had to talk about it. I love this controller. It just feels so much better in my hands versus this one, which is really similar to the one that you got with the old Mavic Air 2. And I will not be buying an $800 smart controller just so that it could be compatible with this to make it feel like this one. I wish I could just take this bad boy and then sync it to this drone and then call it a day and say peace out. I mean, I do like the screen on here, but like this feels so great in your hands. Point number 2, the colors straight out of the Air 2S in normal mode, dang, they look really good. I mean, I can't even deny it. Everybody talks about it, and I think it's true. The Mavic Pro 2's colors are just too saturated. However, with some color correcting in post editing, you can get those colors to look really nice. Just desaturate them a little bit. Do what you got to do. Straight out of the camera, this bad boy wins. The third thing that I really love about this drone is this super wide lens. It's 22 millimeters versus 28 millimeters, and you would not believe how big of a difference that makes. Here's actually some comparison videos right here above my house with the Air 2S, and here's with the Mavic Pro 2, just to show you how much wider the Air 2S drone is at around the same area. The fourth thing that I really love about this drone is how fast it can ascend and descend. So up and down. It is stupid fast. It's like unbelievable. Like this guy is obviously really fast, but this one feels like it's like 3 times faster. I didn't actually check, so I could be exaggerating, but it is crazy. But that saves a lot of time whenever you're trying to get this thing into the position that you need it to when you're going to take that photo or video. So that's definitely something to consider. Okay, and then the last thing that I really like about this drone is obviously how small it is. Everybody loves how small it is. I actually got this case from Walmart for the original Mavic Air 2, and it actually does fit. Is the size a lot bigger? No. But this weighs like half of what this weighs. So, I mean, that's kind of nice. I mean, I'm so tempted to keep the Mavic Air 2S and just use both of them or something, you know, because like this one's so great with stuff and this one's so great for stuff. And how do you decide? But nah, get out of here, you temptress. You're out of here. And Mavic 2 Pro, you still have my heart. I love you. So yeah, I'm going to keep the Mavic Pro 2 and hold out for the Mavic Pro 3 and hope that they didn't get rid of that super slow cinematic tripod mode with the Mavic Pro 3. So at the end of the day though, you're the one who has to decide what works best for you. So if the lack of super slow tripod mode and the inability to be able to adjust the aperture doesn't bother you, then heck yeah, it's no contest. Go with this one if those two things do not bother you. That's all I've got. Thanks for listening to my rant, and a cliche outro is coming at you right now. Feel free to comment below if you think that the tripod mode is an issue or not. And also, if this video helped you in your drone buying endeavors, if you would gently smash the thumb button. Thanks guys, appreciate it.